start recording as well. And now we wait. Wait for some viewers, and then we'll get started with some content. Who's Christina V and why does this say anime? What does this have anything to do? Maybe? Am I blind? I'm not seeing it. Hello, Mr. Seriously Lit. You're gonna have to remind me. Is that Noe? No, sorry. This is your name on Instagram. Justin. What's wrong with me? I can't see viewer count. I don't know why. Give me 1 second. Oh, well, I can see it on my phone. So I'm going to use my phone. And it looks like there's 3 people here already. So I'm not going to make you guys wait to get started. So, welcome to the web dev stream. Without too many details, long story short, started on Tuesday, and we started from the beginning of this book. I didn't want to bore everyone to death, so I skipped over some of the content and some of the stuff in the book. But anything that I felt was important, I briefly went over that. And yeah, we're here. We're in chapter 3 now, and this is about model view controller architecture. And so if you're just now getting to the stream, if it's your first time here, some of the things I'm going to go over real quick is some of the stuff we installed the last stream. And also, you don't have to actually do this stuff alongside me. You can just watch it and kind of get the information that way as well if you're interested. And so the first thing I had everyone install was Git. So you just go and Google install Git. Usually it's the first link. And then you go here. And we're only going to spend a couple of minutes at the beginning of this stream going over some of the old stuff, just so we can keep moving. If you're on Windows, you click the download link. They have instructions for installing on Mac OS and Linux as well. And you can check out those instructions as well. After we installed Git, we installed Node. If you type in install Node, usually it's the first link. You get Node.js, Windows installer, same thing. An exe file will pop up in the corner there, and you run it, and you should have Node.js running. You can also get Visual Studio Code, which is the IDE or code editor that I choose to use, which you can also search for and also click and download as well. Aside from that, after you have Node running, so you go to your command prompt to make sure that Node-V and that you have Node available, and you also have npm-v. If you have Node, you should have npm as well. npm is just Node Package Manager. And so from here, we use Node Package Manager to get something called an Express generator. The Express generator is a tool that we're going to use from the Express framework to generate our starter project. So if you do npm install -g and then you say express generator, that should have you install. The G flag is just for you to install it globally. I have it already, so it was really quick. It was just like basically checking for update, which there shouldn't be one from the last install. And so after that is all said and done, you want to go to your desktop and see I have my locator folder here already, but what you want to do is right click new folder, name it locator. Obviously I can't because mine is already there, and so I'm just going to delete this. And then from your command prompt, and this is just a quick overview, I'm not going into great detail, but there are clips that I made on my Twitch channel, and there's also the full length stream from Tuesday's stream as well if you want to watch the whole thing. But the clips are really short and sweet. They'll kind of just get you right to the point of where we're at now, so you can start operating with the tools we're using now. And then you just change directory into your current project, which is locator, and then you go cd to OneDrive, cd into desktop, cd into locator. For you, your directory might be a little different. Mine, obviously, I have it on a OneDrive that's on the desktop, and that's where my folder is. And so we also installed something called nodemon. So you do npm install, and you can install nodemon globally, G flag, and then nodemon. After everything is installed, the last thing that we did was we went into the locator folder and then we gave it the express command. I'm not going to do it here, but I'm going to show you in the book. It shouldn't be too far from here. The express command. Right here, this is the express command that we gave it. So we tell it, okay, we're creating a new express project. The kind of HTML generator we're using is called Pug. Did I get that right? HTML generator? Where is it? Yeah, CSS preprocessor and template engine. I'm sorry. Yes, so the HTML template engine we're using is called Pug, and we also have Git in there as well, so to create a git ignore file, right? All right, so that leaves us right here, MVC. Hey, what's up, Patrick? Welcome, welcome. Glad you could make it. So, let's get started from here. We're going to talk about model view controller a little bit again. We ended around here the last stream, and so we were just starting to get our project suited for model view controller. So if we look at what we have right now, I had done some of those steps already, but you can see this is what the general folder structure will look like for your current project. So let's read through this. All right. So firstly, what is model view controller architecture? Model view controller architecture separates the data, which is the model, the display, which is the view, and the application logic, which is the controller. This separation aims to remove any tight coupling between the components, theoretically making code more maintainable and reusable. A bonus is that these components fit nicely into your rapid prototype development approach and allow you to concentrate on one aspect at a time as we discuss each part of the mean stack. Cool. So, separating out the code basically makes everything function a little better in the sense that if one part doesn't work or if it breaks, all of the other parts of the code aren't heavily dependent on this one part. So they'll continue to operate. And it makes when they say maintainable and reusable, it makes your code easier to debug as well. And you can take those separate pieces and parts that work and reuse them somewhere else because they're not, all in like one file, for example, or all in one place jumbled up. All right, so bird's eye view of MVC. We can kind of skip over this stuff a little bit. This is just a step-by-step how everything kind of moves through MVC, and this is the diagram showing that step-by-step. User comes in to the website, they make a request, the request goes to the controller goes to database returns something back to the controller merges with the view and returns that view with that new data to the user. All right. So here, what they ended up having us do was create a new folder, which is called App Server, and I can show you that here. So I had already created that during the last stream. And then after doing that, they also had us create two new folders that go inside of App Server called Models and Controllers. So now, under this one App Server folder, we should have models, views, controllers, and also routes, right? Okay, so now you have an obvious MVC setup in the application, which makes it easier to separate your concerns. But if you try to run the application now, it won't work, as you've just broken it. So fix it. Express doesn't know that you've added some new folders or have any idea what you want to use them for, so you need to tell it. So here they're going to have us go to the app.js file, which is where most of, I guess, the logic for the Express is living. And so, okay, so Express will be looking for views, but it needs to look for app server views because we just changed the directory, right? Changing the path is simple. In app.js, find the following line. So if we go to app.js, which is open here already, the line was right here. So you can see I already placed app server in there. And so now it knows what directory to look in. They also have us change the router as well and tell it, okay, this is also the directory to look in, which is also changed here. Before this, it just kind of looked like that. That's what it looked like before, but we don't have to do that. All right. So, and then we explained a little bit about this. So variables in, so ES 2015 stands for ECMAScript 2015, which is just a version of JavaScript. And with that version of JavaScript came, instead of using the variable keyword, we use const and let. So now you have, if you declare a variable using const, it's not mutable, meaning you cannot change it. And if you use let, you are able to change it. And I think it does something with the scoping as well. I'm not awesome at JavaScript yet, so I don't know too much, but definitely it's something we can look at later on when we're closer to finishing the book if you want to look at Appendix D. And yeah, or if it's something you're interested in, you can also search for it after the stream or during the stream if you'd like. All right, so here's where we really stopped at, splitting controllers from routes. In a default Express setup, controllers are part of the routes, but you want to separate them out. Controllers should manage the application logic, and routing should map URL requests to controllers. To understand how routes work, take a look at the route already set up for delivering the default Express homepage. Inside index.js and app server routes, you should see the following code snippet. All right, so they explain how this code snippet works. In the code at 1, so right here at this line, where the router looks for the URL, you can see router.get. The router checks internally for GET requests that map to the homepage URL path, which is a /. The anonymous function that runs the code 1 is the controller. This basic example has no application code to speak of. So 1 and 2 are the pieces you want to separate here. All right. Rather than dive straight in and put the controller code in the controller's folder, test the approach in the same file first. To do this, you can define the anonymous function from the route definition as a named function. Then pass the name of this function through as the callback in the route definition. Both of these steps are in the following listing, which you can put in place inside app server routes index.js. Okay, so what they're having us here is that eventually we're going to completely separate this into two different files. This one's going to go into, this is going to be the controller, which will stay here, and this will go into the routes, right? But for now, they want to try separating it within the actual file itself as named functions to see if it works within the file itself. Just in case we run into errors, we can easily and quickly debug it, right? Cool. So let's see here. What do we currently have this set up as? I'm going to get rid of this. I'll go to routes, index.js. All right. So we get a named function, homepage controller. So let me put that here. Let me see. Ooh. And then right here. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Sorry, I might be doing too much. Router.get homepage controller. So this whole function in here, we can kind of just separate this part out. Yep, and then this is going to become homepage controller. And then this is that function now, except Sorry, I just overcomplicated this. We just need this line now, which is render. Oh, what did I do? Okay. By the way, at any point in time, if you guys have any questions or you have any feedback, hey, I can't hear you that well or something, or your mic is coming in kind of bad, or could you slow down? Any of that stuff, completely appreciated. It helps me better the stream, so that way the content that I'm delivering is a little more, I guess suitable. Title express, but that's in quotes. And we have a semicolon. And this has a semicolon. And this should be going before the router. So let me Control X that. Cool. Okay, we can save that. All right, so we've separated out the controller from the router within the same file, just how they have it here as well, right? So if you refresh your homepage now, it should still work as before. You haven't changed anything in how the site works, only moved a step toward separating concerns. Understanding res.render. All right. I need a refresher on this too, so this is going to help me. You'll look at this topic more in Chapter 4, but render is the express function for compiling a view template to send as the HTML response that the browser will receive. The render method takes the name of the view template and a JavaScript data object in the following construct. All right, so res.render, and then you said name of the template to use and a JavaScript object containing data for template to use. Awesome. So I think maybe this part was definitely something I needed to refresh on. So this this second argument here that's being passed into this function, and this function is an express function, is just basically data in JavaScript. So like say for example later on when we're creating an API and we want to pass data through to it, that return data can just simply be put in as an object here, a JavaScript object, and whatever is expected to be in there we can access within that view. So later on when we're creating our views using Pug, we can use those variables and it'll help our views to be dynamic. If that doesn't make too much sense now, it'll make much more sense later on. Don't worry about it for now. It's not too important, but that's neat. All right, so note that the template file doesn't need to have the file extension suffix. So index.pug can be referenced as index. Okay, so normally this would be referred to as index.pug, which is a specific file name, but they don't need the suffix as they explained here. You also don't need to specify the path to the view folder because you've already done this in the main express setup. Awesome. Now that you're clear about how the route definitions work, it's time to put the controller code in its proper place. In Node, to reference code in an external file, you create a module in your new file and then require it in the original file. See the sidebar creating and using Node modules for some overarching principles behind this process. Sorry, before I even get to that point, let's make sure that we're able to run our code. So if you're following along, if you just enter in node mon, if you have that already installed, you should be able to run your application from the command prompt here. And now if you go and open up a new tab and you look for localhost and we do 3000, nice. It's still working. So I actually ended up changing this text last stream. It's not going to make too big of a difference. So don't worry if the text is different. Shouldn't be too different. All right. So here we are creating and using Node modules. Taking some code out of a Node file to create an external module is, fortunately, simple. In essence, you create a new file for your code, choose which bits of it you want to expose to the original file, and then require your new file in your original file. That's a lot of file, and file. But I think it'll make more sense when we actually do it. Okay. In your new module file, you expose the parts of the code that you want to by using the module.exports method like so. So right here they have module.exports, a function, and all the function does is log to the console. require it in the main files, and then we use require. And you want your module to have separate named methods exposed. So you can do so by defining them in your new file in the following way. Okay, and so this is a name function, I guess. .log this equals function. Even better is to define a named function and export it at the end of the file. This lets us expose all the functions you need to in one place, creating a handy list for your future self or subsequent developers. Okay, so basically, module.exports is how we make our code modular. So that's a very important part of this. Right here, you see that example. So for example, if another piece of code wanted to use router here, we need to export router from this file from index.js. And if anyone else wanted to reference it and use that same functionality, they would have to say require, just like how it is here, right? Require, and then the name, and usually it includes that the directory where that file is located to. Okay, so require, yep, and then you give it a name, and then you can use it. This code assigns your new module to the variable your module. The exported function log this is now available as a method of your module. Note that when using the require function, you don't need to specify a file extension. Oh, my bad, I was wrong. You don't need to specify a file extension. Awesome. The require function looks for a couple of things: an npm module, a JavaScript file of the same name, or an index.js file inside a folder of the given name. The first thing you need to do is create a file to hold the controller code. Create a new file called main.js in app server controllers. Let's do that now. So let's go app server controllers, right click, new file, call it main.js. Boom, done. All right, and where was I? Sorry. Right here. Yep. In this file, create and export a method called index and use it to house the res.render code as shown in the following listing. All right. So basically, we created this new file, and we're gonna copy and paste this function that we had basically inside of our index right here. Are we? Is that what we're doing? Make it sound like we're creating a new one, but from what I understand, this is the same thing. Get homepage. Yep. Const index equals. Yep. Sorry if I'm flashing the screen a lot. Just bear with me for a moment. Index title express. Yep. That's the same thing. So let's just copy that. Or I'll just cut it. I think what we're doing is removing it. And then we export it. So instead, we're going to call it index. And here, we're not going to call it homepage controller, index. And then we're going to module.exports equals index, semicolon. Nice. Okay, and they're probably going to have us require index in here. Okay, that's all there is to exporting the controller. The next step is to require this controller module in the routes file so that you can use the expose method in the route definition. The following listing shows the index.js file and app server routes should look. All right, yep. So it's no longer there. That means we did take it from that. Okay, and now we're just going to add this new line here. And this will require the main controller. So the file we just created here is being exported. And it's being the one we created here is being exported as index. And is being brought in here when we do control main. So require doop. Where are we getting that from? Controllers main, right? Hold up. Controllers main. Did I call it controllers or controller? How do they have us name this in the beginning? So there's inconsistency in this book. Nope. Everything has an S at the end, and I made that mistake. Small stuff like that will trip you up because then like when you forget an S, it means that you're referencing the wrong thing, and when stuff stops working, you're like, oh, well, what did I do wrong? And you find out that it's simple stuff like that. So I'm gonna rename this. Yes. Nice. See it. It went and updated. What? Nope. Hold up. Controllers / Yep. Save that. But let's continue fixing this model. Should be models. Routes, views. Perfect. All right. That's fine now. So what else do they have us do? Router.get. And now this is going to be control main. Dot index. And I think that's it. Yeah. Not what I meant to do. All right. All right. Let me know if you guys are still with me, please. I don't want to feel like I'm leaving anyone behind, or you know what I'm saying. Like, I need to know you guys are alive. Oh! I just spilled water. Never mind that though. Yeah. It can be really tedious, but it is so rewarding for me. I just really love the design that goes into web development as well. I personally have, since graduating myself, have stopped doing it, but like part of the point of this stream series is to motivate me to get back into web development. And so my goal has really been to finish this book. And like I've been struggling to finish this book. But I think if I were to make it as stream content, I now have designated slots of time for me to dedicate to reading this book and actually doing its examples. And what helps too is that like since I'm like kind of like reading it to you guys, even though I'm not like really teaching, I guess per se, but like because it's like I'm teaching you guys, it helps me learn it too. But yeah. Yeah, basically. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's also a great approach as well. Using code if it's open source as well. I do not, but if you'd like me to, I'll do that. I'll actually um Google Doc. Or how would you guys like if I just made it a zip folder and maybe shared it to the Discord? By the way, if anyone's watching right now and you're not part of the programmers Discord, right now we only got 2 guys in there right now. Very good friends of mine. But it is kind of lonely in there. So there should be a link to the Discord in the info section of the Twitch stream. And if you're interested, you can click the link to join. And then, yeah, I can also make a Google link as well. And I'll probably put that as another clickable link on the stream info. So that way, if anyone's not in the Discord chat, they can also get the code as well. But I'll probably be uploading it to the Discord first. Yes, actually, I uploaded my first stream onto YouTube, and surprisingly got a comment like immediately. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, hold on. Let me get back to this. I also need to clean up this water that I just spilled on myself. So give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Also, not overcharge my laptop. This thing has bad battery life to begin with. Okay, so shall we continue? We are on a great path to success here. I can't wait till we actually like finish this book. We can start using all this stuff because even though this book gives you a very solid base to start off of, there's a lot of things, especially with Angular, that I want to learn how to do, like animations and design-based things. So, all right, here we go. Now you have the routing and controller architecture as illustrated in Figure 3.7, where app.js requires routes forward slash, okay, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. So basically all this is saying is that we have accomplished our task. We created our routing and controller architecture. So now we've separated the routes and the controllers. So app functionality will go here. The routes will handle where each functionality is located. So it'll tell, hey, this is where this is where this is. Yes, there is a YouTube, but it's not really official yet. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It really is just it's my old YouTube channel. I have a couple of old videos on there. I didn't really clean it up or nothing like that. I was like, I'll leave it there. It doesn't matter. But it's a dead channel that I'm low key trying to revive by just putting some content up there. But if you guys are interested, yeah, I'll put a YouTube link in my Twitch what do you call this? The Twitch info. And you guys can see the links, right? It's not like hard to find or anything. It's like on, because I know sometimes maybe it'll be different to see it on PC or different on the phone. So, but yeah, I'll include that. I'll create a YouTube link. I'm really not trying to get into the whole like attraction for me to Twitch is like not having to edit the videos. And that's true. That's exactly true. That's the biggest reason why I want to start uploading the clips to YouTube. But I literally just started with Instagram and a Facebook page the other day. So like, yeah, I don't want to rush into doing YouTube too. But it's really not that hard for me to just upload a video to YouTube unedited. So I don't know. Maybe people will appreciate the unedited videos and they'll be like, hey, we should watch this guy's stream. Or maybe I should upload the individual clips too. Some of the clips can be somewhere between 3 and 10 minutes long, which I think will make for okay YouTube videos as well. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, so moving on. Importing Bootstrap. This is the fun part because I love Bootstrap. I've used it in all of my projects, and it's just really easy to use, and it's awesome. Alright, as discussed in Chapter 1, your locator application uses Twitter's Bootstrap framework to speed the development of a responsive design. You'll also make the application stand out by adding some font icons and custom styles. The aim is to help you keep moving forward quickly with building the application and not get sidetracked with the semantics of developing a responsive interface. This is really important because when you're in the first development stages of whatever kind of web application you're creating or website you're creating, I mean, even outside of web development with anything, a lot of the times you can get stuck on one detail of something because you're so fixated on getting that one part perfect before you move on to the next step. And like now you've made almost no progress on your project. The same thing applies to web development. So we want to get a quick, responsive UI done right out the gate so that way we continue our development. Right? No, I don't. I know I have to edit them. I'm not a video editor. I'm not good at it. Downloading Bootstrap and adding it to the application. Instructions for downloading Bootstrap, downloading the font icons by Font Awesome, creating a custom style, and adding the files to the project folder are in Appendix B. Note that you could use Bootstrap 4.1. A key point is that the downloaded files are all static files to be sent directly to the browser. They don't need any processing by the Node engine. Your Express application already has a folder for this purpose, the public folder. When you have it ready, the public folder will look something like this. Okay, so we have to follow the instructions to get all the icons and all the styling and everything from Appendix B. So I'm going to control click this so it opens up in a new tab. And we're going to follow this. All right. Oh, I didn't know this book had Docker in it. See, I probably didn't get that far. But that's pretty badass. I mean, if we get to learn how to use Docker, I don't know anything about Docker other than a general idea of how it works. it's like a small version of an operating system, but what makes it different is that it's not an operating system. It's literally just the minimal amount of the computer that's needed to launch that application. It's not a full fledged operating system, so it's a lot lighter. And so you can, from what I understand at least, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, you can launch a bunch of Docker containers from one PC, and it'll utilize a lot less resources. So it helps you make your application scalable, I guess. But if we get to learn how to use it, I've only used it once for like a project in college, so it should be cool. Anyway, let's get to this. All right, Twitter Bootstrap isn't installed as such, but it's added to your application. The process is as simple as downloading the library files, unzipping them, and placing them in the application. The first step is downloading Bootstrap. This book uses version 4.1, which currently is the official release. You can get it from Control-Click. Oh, sorry. Make sure you download the ready-to-use files and not the source. The distribution zip contains two folders, CSS and JS. When you have the files downloaded and unzipped, move one file from each folder into the public folder in your Express application as follows. Move one file from each folder. Okay. So this is exactly how we are going to have that set up for that next step. So we're going to go over here. Right now they have version 4.5. I'm sure it shouldn't be too big of a problem. And we want to get, if I'm correct, we don't want the source files. We want the ready to use, which is the compiled, right? So the compiled zip, and there it is, show in folder. Control X. I'm gonna go to our desktop. And let's go to, where are we? Locator? Locator. And then, or maybe we should unzip this somewhere first. Let's just unzip it here. Paste. Oh, looks like we have 4.3.1 already here. I guess that was from a previous time that I've gone through this book. And sorry, extract all. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's the folder. And we want min.js, bootstrap.min.js. This one right here. We're just going to copy it. We're going to go to locator. And we're going to go to public, JavaScripts, paste. And then we're looking for, which ones do we need from this? Just the bootstrap.min.css. Where's that? Right here. Copy. And we're gonna go back. Back. Oh, sorry, not back. Whatever. Let's go to. Sorry, I know this part probably seems like super duper boring, but we gotta do what we gotta do to make this stuff work. And boom! Now you have Bootstrap working in your project. It was as simple as that. Just downloading the files, unzipping it, and then picking the specific minified version that we need to place into our application. What do they have us do next? So that gives you access to the default look and feel of Bootstrap. And also, like Patrick had recommended, I will be zipping this project up and putting it in the Discord. And maybe I can make my own GitHub as well for it. I mean, there is a GitHub for this project from the book creators, but I don't know how I feel using, I guess on this Twitch stream, referring basically like, I mean, I'm already reading the book content, but like to be like also getting the code. I don't know how it would work. I'm sure it should be fine, but because it's open source. But all right, the locator application in this book uses some custom styles that we created. This application is simple enough not to need a theme but was based on Bootstrap 4.1. To add the custom styles, edit the style.css file in your public style sheets folder. Shows a good starting point and provides the CSS used throughout the book. So I'm literally going to just take all of this. What they're asking me basically is just take all of this, copy it, and paste it into your styles, right? I'm fairly familiar with how CSS works. I've used it quite a lot. It's pretty simple, but I'm not going to handwrite all of this 100 lines of CSS. Not happening, which is why I think it's going to be important for me to upload this. I do not. If you want to create a blog, I highly suggest going with being a WordPress developer. Because WordPress comes with an automatically already created working content management system. I actually personally, the project that I wanted to do using this mean stack would make way more sense if I was doing it with WordPress. But like the stubborn bastard I am, I want to use the mean stack for some reason because I want to learn all the technologies. But it for a media site, for a blog, for anything like that, it just makes way more sense for you to use use WordPress to create the site because a lot of the heavy lifting is done for you already. Even in terms of like functionality, you can likely find a plugin. And if you're decent enough at programming and you understand PHP enough, you can probably make changes to the plugin to suit it to your needs. And really all you'd be left with doing is just designing everything and figuring out how everything routes. But yes, if you're looking for something with a content management system, I don't think it makes sense to make your own. I think you're just using a pre-made WordPress site basically is the way to go because I mean, all the heavy lifting is done for you already, basically. And what's nice is that the user interface, you don't have to worry about making the user interface for the content management system because like lots of people are familiar with WordPress. I think there's so many, if I'm not mistaken, over 50% of the websites now. Yeah, no, of course, that's understandable. That's understandable. But in terms of getting results, if you really want to create your website, you want it to be efficient, you want it to just be quick and done without having, you want to be a one-man team and doing that as well, you can make your own content management system if you'd like. But, WordPress will do most of the heavy lifting. You can still program, though. You'll still be able to, and by the way, I'm just adding in what I copied and pasted. And again, I will make a link right after this stream. What is that, bro? What? I guess the line broke and it wasn't supposed to. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. What parts of this were supposed to be? Hold up. We're gonna look at this because. All right, was that the URL? Yeah, that was the URL. That should be a whole line on its own. Here we go. Sorry, I'm going to see your message in just one moment. That should be good. Yep. Looks good to me. Yeah, of course, no problem. I actually personally wanted to do WordPress for a little while. When I had the idea for, the startup that I wanted to do and everything, and, I had an actual entrepreneur who happened to also work at my school. He's a professor, but he also runs his own 3 businesses. And his advice was, he's all about a get to market fast strategy. His advice was use WordPress. And I kept fighting him on it. But I didn't have a good reason why I was fighting him on it. Really, I think at the end of the day, it's just because I'm a developer. I'm a software engineer. I really just want to learn the technology. I guess even though I did really want to create that website, at the same time, I wanted to do it my way. You get what I'm saying? So I think that was really the big reason behind all of it. All right, Font Awesome. Font Awesome is an awesome way to get scalable icons into your application by using fonts and CSS instead of images. As with Bootstrap, a few files need to be downloaded and put in the right places. First, head to link and click the download button to download the zip file. So let's do that. Boom, download button, zip file, awesome. I'm gonna close this now because I don't need this. All right, where am I? Yep, the button is currently a big blue one, but it may have, okay, yep. We use version 5.2. Zip file contains loads of folders. The most important folders of this book are CSS and web fonts. When Font Awesome is downloaded and unzipped, follow these 2 steps. Copy the entire web fonts folder into the public folder in your application. So web fonts. So let's unzip this, show in folder. Control X, bring that to the desktop. Maybe we'll, okay, yeah, let's just paste it here. Oh, see, look, I got 5.1 already on here, which is cool. Let's unzip this. Extract. And if you are interested, if you do want to make your own content management system, which is something I was looking into before, there is a JavaScript framework that exists for creating a content management system, and it is called Keystone.js. Another thing I looked into that you might be interested in, not directly related, but I was looking into open source learning management systems. And I actually ended up messaging a developer. I think he's from Spain or something like that. He was probably like, what's this random kid doing? Messaging me, asking me about stuff. But I was interested in implementing a learning management system as well, but I wanted to have open source software to use to do it so I can make it customizable. And he was coming up with his own thing. I think I'm still in the Slack channel. I hear what you're saying, Patrick. Listen, man, I'm just listening to what the book is telling me to do. So we're gonna use Font Awesome, but for my own personal websites, I usually. In terms of operating system, I probably don't have like a good answer for that one, to be honest. I'm used to Windows, so I just develop on Windows. The only time that I know an operating system matters when it comes to development, I know with app development, nothing beats a MacBook because, I mean, in terms of, I guess, being able to write in Xcode or use Xcode or create Apple, software, from what I understand or from what I know, you can't do it on a Windows PC because you can't test and run your code, or you can't do it on a Linux PC as well. But I guess Linux might be good for web development. I'm not really too familiar with Linux. I used Ubuntu a couple times, but I'm not like super duper familiar with it. But you can probably check out Linux. Linux might be a good place to start, but I'm more familiar with Windows, so I stick to Windows. Copy. I think this is what we're using. Web fonts folder. Yep. And the entire web fonts folder into the public folder. So we're going to go to desktop, find locator again. We're going to go to public, paste. Awesome. All right. And all.min.css file from CSS folder into public style sheets. All right. Where did I just unzip this? Right here. And CSS, all.min.css. Copy, desktop, locator, public, style sheets, paste. Awesome. And by the way, I would love to play music, and I probably would, but it will mute my audio, and I will not be able to reuse my clips for this, which would really suck. But normally, I might play like Spotify. I usually like playing hip hop music. Which language do you recommend for backend? I'm new. I'm learning CSS right now. For backend, I guess there's a couple of things that you can use for server-side programming. Well, Node.js, of course, is also an option. So you can technically use JavaScript now thanks to Node.js. And since we're learning the Express framework, if you'd like to stick around on this stream, you can definitely learn Express with us. I know PHP is also used for server-side programming as well. Other than that, I'm sure there are other languages too, but I'm not completely familiar with them. But you should be able to just, I guess, pick a tech stack. I mean, there's the The only tech stacks that I know of are mean stack, MERN stack, and lamp stack. I'm sure there are more. MERN is just replacing Angular with React, which people actually tend to like React better. I don't know anything about either framework. Well, I know enough about Angular to explain a little bit about it, but I don't know enough about React for me to be able to give my, judgment. Node.js or Dino. I'm not sure what Dino is, but I do know we're learning Node.js here for server-side scripting. But yeah, that's as far as I know, at least. I'm still pretty don't get me wrong. I'm still pretty new to this stuff too. But let's say I've technically been doing web development for a long time, but I haven't been doing it seriously for a long time. So that's why I don't really have any, I guess, solid projects to show. But if you actually want to see what one of my projects look like, I mean, I show it off every stream just because I hope one day to revive this child of mine. There's nothing special about it, by the way. It's literally all just front end stuff. It's like all like, it's just Pug and Bootstrap, and that's pretty much it. And some routing is done here with Express. That's it. But I mean, you got a general idea, and you can look at the article page. I really wanted to turn this into something, and I failed myself because I did not do anything with this, but maybe one day we'll get back to it. But you get the general idea. And so, yeah, I'm personally, that's kind of the extent of my experience. Okay, let's continue here. Let's make some progress. It is already 6:46. My goodness. While you guys are here, let me get your opinions on this. So last stream I only made it about an hour and a half because it seemed like people were like bored to death, and I don't know. How do you guys feel about a 2-hour stream for content like this? I normally with the video games I stream for 4 hours because it's like, I mean, I'm gonna be playing the video game anyway. I don't care, even if no one's watching. 4 hours doesn't bother me, but I can easily understand people getting tired of like 2 hours of me reading a book, but let me know. I mean, if you prefer 1 hour or maybe 1.5 hours is a sweet spot, or if 2 hours is good. I initially planned it to be 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m., but yeah. I mean, let me know. Yeah, of course, no problem. Definitely, if you want to look into React, I hear React is doesn't have as steep a learning curve as Angular. People seem to be really mad about Angular. The last guy that I talked to about it seemed very discontent. So, yeah. Oh, well, it looks like, according to what we did here, everything is in place. Note that with Font Awesome, the name and position of the fonts folder relative to the all.min.css file is important. The CSS file references the fonts by using a relative path of web font. So if the path is broken, okay, if you don't have the patience to do all this, it's provided in the GitHub repo. I'm sorry, what are they asking me to do? Name of the position of the fonts folder relative to is important. CSS file references the fonts by using the relative path of. So if the path is broken. Okay, but did they actually ask me to do anything though? Everything's fine, right? I don't have to change the directory or anything, right? Or change the path somewhere. Yeah, okay. And we did Git already, so, and we don't need Docker yet. I'm sure it's going to come towards the end of the book. Cool. Let's make some more progress. All right, using Bootstrap in the application. Awesome. Yes, we're going to start getting into Pug. This is my favorite part. Honestly, I like doing front end stuff. That's why I'm so adamant on wanting to learn Angular, because I want to do more cool front end stuff, but at least at the basic level, I enjoy doing stuff like Pug. Okay. We can look at Pug Templates. Pug Templates often have a main layout file that has defined areas for other Pug files to extend. This makes a great deal of sense when you're building a web application, because many screens or pages have the same underlying structure with different content on top. This is how Pug appears in a default Express installation. If you look in the views folder in the application, you see 3 files: layout pug, index pug, and error.pug. The index pug file is controlling the content for the index page of the application. Open it and you see that not much is in there. The entire contents are shown in the following listing. All right, there's more going on here than meets the eye. Right at the top of the file is a statement declaring that this file is an extension of another file. One, so this extends layout. In this case, the layout file. Following is a statement defining a block of code, two, that belongs to a specific area of the layout file, which is block content. Here we go. An area called content. Finally, there's the minimal content displayed on the express index page, a single h1 tag and a single p tag, which is line 3 right here. Okay, there are no references to head or body tags here or any style sheet references. These are handled in the layout file. So that's where you want to go to add global scripts and style sheets to the application. Open layout.pug and you see something similar to the following listing. Okay, so we can open that and go here. Let's close some of this stuff up. We don't need it, right? Go to, close this too. And we're going to go to views. What? Hold up. Your boy is confused. Hold on. I have 2 views folders. Oh, maybe I copied it. I don't know. I'm deleting this though. I think so. That looks right, right? I don't know. You guys let me know. I wanted to delete something I was supposed to delete. All right. Here we go. And they say we're looking at which one again? Layout.pug? Layout. Yes, and that is what this looks like. Awesome. Okay, so this shows the layout file being used for the basic index page in the default Express installation. There's a head section and a body section. And within the body section, there's a block content line with nothing inside it. This named block can be referenced by other Pug templates, such as the index.pug file in listing 3.5. The block content from the index file gets pushed into the block content area of the layout file when the views are compiled. My brain went on E just now, so I didn't actually follow any of what I just read. Sorry about that. But let's keep moving because I'm pretty sure we're going to figure out what we're supposed to do next. If you want to add some external reference files to the entire application using the layout file, makes sense in the current setup. In layout.pug, you need to accomplish 4 things. A reference to Bootstrap and font awesome CSS files, my bad. A reference to Bootstrap JavaScript file, reference jQuery and popper.js, which Bootstrap requires, add viewport metadata so the page scales nicely on mobile devices. So this is a bunch of extra stuff. I'm probably just going to copy and paste this. If you're following along, I'm terribly sorry. I don't want to do this to you. But this code, like I said, at the end of the stream, everything that I have currently at the end of the stream will be zipped up. I'll send it to the Discord channel. If you're not part of the Discord channel yet, it is linked in the info section of this stream. And I think I will put it on a drive as well, a Google Drive that I can share with everyone. And yeah, that should be fine. That should work. Because this is a lot of stuff. I'm not typing this out by hand, obviously. Just gonna. All right, so this is all going underneath head on layout. Head. There's titles mixed in there somewhere, yeah. And another thing is that in Pug, the contents are separated by spaces by 2. Oh yeah, this is the whole thing. What am I doing? Undo. Just erase all of this and replace it. Easy, right? Awesome. So if you take a look at that, that's what it's supposed to look like, and that's what we have now. Cool. Okay, so our layout file, basically just to explain in simple terms what happened just now. We're just setting up the layout file, since it's basically like the base file for all the views. So like when we build it out, you'll see what it looks like. But basically imagine that, like, you know, every part of the site's going to have a navigation bar, or if they happen to have a footer, every part of the site's also going to have a footer. All that stuff that's going to stay contingent throughout your entire site will be part of that layout folder, or sorry, that layout file. You can do this. You can actually utilize this another way. I'm just thinking of this now. I've never thought of this before, but you can create more than one type of layout file if you really think about it, and you can just extend it. For example, if I had a page about books or something, and I had one section of that page just extend into a bunch of other things about books, and they have the same layout. Like I could just extend that one file. Anyway, we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. I think I'm just like maybe confusing it, but if you follow, I think it's pretty cool feature. Angular has something very similar too, where you're basically just extending layouts. Okay. With that done, any new template that you create automatically has Bootstrap included and will scale on mobile devices, as long as your new template extends the layout template, of course. Should you have any problems or unexpected results at this stage, remember that Pug is sensitive to indentation, spacing, and new lines. All indentation must be done with spaces to get the correct nesting in the HTML output. So from what I've learned with Pug, for some reason, it's indent by 2 spaces, and that's how it works. MySQL. Yeah, you know what's funny is that I did terrible in college on my database course. I mean, like Fishman spared me, bro. Like he really like even passing. I think I might pass with like a B or something like that. It's probably like the worst grade that I've ever gotten in college. Yeah, it's not that bad, but like literally just goes to show you, I struggled in that class. I don't know why. I don't know if it was like maybe just the way I was learning it. But like I struggled in that SQL class. So you know why I'm happy about learning MongoDB? Because I don't have to learn about, yeah, I know knowing relational databases is supposed to be fundamental. But I mean, as long as I understand how it works, I feel like it should be fine. But like structuring queries, not for me, bro. It's just I don't think I'm too good at it, honestly. Maybe I can do like very simple queries. Like I did a little bit of PostgreSQL before, but I'm gonna stick with Mongo and any other NoSQL databases. Okay, cool. So if the application isn't already running with NodeMon, start it and view it. Okay, so sorry, console. So obviously, as I was changing things, things broke, and this is an example of how NodeMon is constantly watching me save code. Every time I save something, it reloads the server and starts it over again, which is cool. We don't have to keep, I guess, refreshing things. So if I go back to localhost, something is broken. Awesome. Right here. So right here, there should not be a line break. So we're going to go fix that. And boom. Well, it's not just here. What the heck, bro? This is why it's not good to copy and paste all the time. This is what happens to you when you copy and paste. The first time I went through this book, the first time I went through this book, the 2015 version, the first edition was the only one that was out. But now they have I think it's 2019 edition. Maybe it's 2018. I'm not sure how recent this book is. But the second edition is what I'm working with now. But at the time, I had the first edition in. Okay, that should. What? Boy, if you don't. Please don't break. No! How is there still an error, bro? I fixed that, though. Layout.pug, line 4. Oh, there's something right here specifically. Where did I mess up? Now you guys get to make fun of me in the chat. No, don't get me wrong. I'm sure SQL is easy. I don't understand why I personally struggled with it. There it is. Boom. I forgot to fix this one. This one is still messed up. And I'm sure if I take a second look through it and I actually take the time. Hey, isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful. So all this is all the colors and presets are done by that style sheet that was shared with us from the appendix in the book, and also, you know, whatever from Bootstrap and all that goodness. Cool. We can make some progress here now. Obviously, it looks a little different than what's in here, but clearly they've made some changes. So if yours doesn't look like this, make sure you've added the custom styles as outline, blah, 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 blah. Here's a link. Okay, so if you guys do want what's currently, I guess, on my screen up to this point right now, and you happen to have you happen to have this working already, you happen to have Git working on your PC already, you can literally just write in this command right here. And even though there's a line break here, forget the line break. This is part of that link there for the Git. And if you go in your command line, say cmd cd, and let me get into my desktop, I would literally write that same exact line right here. Let's put that in there. Let's Control V. See, it's the line break, man. It's not supposed to be there. Come on, bro. Right there. And then getting, nope, sorry. mean2.get. And this is the open source version of the code up until this point in chapter 3. And if you run this, it will clone that directory minus that there $sign that shouldn't be there. Anyway, it'll clone that directory onto your PC, and you just need to go into the root directory and press npm install from the command line, and yeah, it should work. Yeah, I know. I had copied. Oh, sorry. No, you're right. My bad. The first error was explaining that, is what you're saying, right? The reason why it didn't run the first time. I thought it was the line break. You're right. It was the $sign in front. The $sign is meant for the terminal in Mac OS. That's usually how each line starts. Or in is it a $sign in Linux too? I don't remember. Anyway, now that we've gone over that's the command you can use to get what the source code for the book up to this point. Boom, making it live on Heroku. That's gonna be cool stuff. Oh, is this for super user, $sign for normal user, hash for root user, or super user? Gotcha. But that's not valid on Windows, right? That's only Mac OS and in Linux, I think. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Making it live on Heroku. A common perceived headache. Yeah. Like OS. Cool. All right. A common perceived headache with Node applications is deploying them to a live production server. You're going to get rid of that headache early and push your locator application to a live URL right away. As you iterate and build it up, you can keep pushing out the updates. For prototyping, this approach is great because it makes showing your progress to others easy. As mentioned in Chapter 1, there are a few platform as a service, which is what that stands for, providers such as Google Cloud Platform, Nodejitsu, OpenShift, and Heroku. You'll use Heroku here, but there's nothing to stop you from trying other options. Next, you'll get Heroku up and running and walk through a few basic Git commands to deploy your application to a live server. Excuse me. All right, getting Heroku set up. Before you can use Heroku, you need to sign up for a free account and install the Heroku Cli on your development machine. Appendix B has more detailed information on how to do this. You also need a Bash compatible terminal. The default terminal for Mac users is fine, but the default CLI or command line interface for Windows users won't do. If you're on Windows, you need to download something like the GitHub terminal, which comes as part of the GitHub desktop application. When you have everything set up, you can continue getting the application ready to push live. Now they say this, but I don't remember running into any issues pushing things to Heroku using my regular Windows CLI. I don't know if there was a change or some update that they did to Windows. I heard something about them adding some kind of Linux thing, like some kind of sub OS or something that you can use from Windows. I don't remember that was about. I don't think that directly applies to what I'm talking about here, but I haven't had issues to the point where I need to use Git Bash or anything like that. So this is installing Git. So if you haven't installed Git yet, I have a clip up on the Twitch channel you can check out. You can also just go to Google and type in install Git, and that should work. Okay, and we're looking for Heroku. All right, this book uses Heroku for hosting the locator application in a live production environment. You can do this too for free, so long as you sign up, install the CLI, and log in through terminal. Signing up for Heroku. To use Heroku, you need to sign up for an account. For the purposes of the application you'll be building through this book, a free account is fine. head over to Heroku.com and follow the instructions to sign up. So I have actually signed up already. If you'd like to sign up, you can go ahead. I actually have 2 emails. One of them is for my personal project, which I showed you guys earlier. And this one is for the book project. And so this is a version that's a little further along, which also has the MongoDB database also hosted on here. So this is a live database and a live application. And we're going to get to that point as well. But for now, I should be able to demonstrate most of this, even though I have an account already. I don't think it should be an issue. But let's see. Let's keep moving. All right. So let's pretend we made an account already. Okay, we're signed up. Installing the Heroku CLI. The Heroku CLI contains the Heroku command line shell and a utility called Heroku Local. The shell is what you'll use from the terminal to manage your Heroku deployment. And local is useful for making sure that what you've built on your machine is set up to run properly on Heroku. You can download the tool belt for Mac OS, Windows, and Linux from, let's control click that as well. We're going to close these. I don't like having too many tabs open. Okay. Download and install. Boom. This is the Mac OS installer, Windows installer, 64-bit. If for some reason you're still using 32-bit computer, there's also this version as well. And this is, I guess, the command you use for installing it on Ubuntu, which is a distribution of Linux. The only distribution I've ever used, actually, to mention. Yep. Okay. So let's say we've installed it and we run it. And now what do we want us to do next? So now that we've installed, quote unquote, and ran, quote unquote, we are going to log in from the terminal. So let's do command cd OneDrive, cd desktop. And I don't think I need to be into the root directory of my project folder, but let's do it anyway. And then let's do Heroku login. If for some reason that command doesn't work the same way it's working on my computer, then maybe you have to try reinstalling Heroku again. But that should be it. WSL, it's like a Ubuntu OS on Windows. Yes, that's what I was referring to. So I heard some news about that. I guess people were really hyped about it. And I don't remember what the outcome of that was. Maybe it's already available on my PC and I don't know it, but yeah. Okay, cool. So we just logged into Heroku through our command line. If we look here, we've got that their confirmation text that I've logged in with my student email here. And now we should be able to push to Heroku. So if we go back to our book here, so we know Heroku's working. We don't need the appendix anymore. I also don't need this or that since it's installed. And we have Heroku Set Up. Let's read this. What is this about? Heroku can run applications on various types of code bases. So you need to tell it what your application is running. Besides telling it what you're running a node application using npm as a package manager, you also need to tell it which version you're running to ensure that the production setup is the same as the development setup. If you're not sure which versions of node and npm you're running, you can find out with a couple of terminal commands. Currently, these commands return blah 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 respectively using the I don't remember what this symbol is. Tilde? I could be wrong. We'll call it the squiggly line. Syntax to add a wildcard, or it's a wildcard, okay, for a minor version. As you've seen previously, you need to add these to a new engine section in the package.json file. The complete updated package.json file is shown in the following listing, with the added section in bold. Okay, added section is in bold. I can't tell which one of these is bold. Oh, sorry, this is bold. The whole thing is bold. My bad. Okay, so we need to add this engine section to our package.json. We'll go do that. I almost skipped over this. Look at me. I would have made us all make a mistake here. In package.json, we're going to add an engines, yes, engine section. And we want our current version. And if we go to our terminal, find out node-v and npm-v, Those are our current versions, so we're going to write that in there just like that. Node. And what's our version? We have 12.13.0. 13.0. And we also have, what is it, NPM? Six point 14.4. And yep, that's what they have there. But I forgot the greater than equal to symbol. I know they just explained that the wildcard meant that I guess it'll update when a later version, for a minor version, as you've seen previously, you need to add these to a new engine section. You need to add these to a new engine section of the package. From what I remember, if I'm correct, the wildcard I think is supposed to, when a new available version is ready, it can go to that version. Or maybe it's the up caret. I don't remember. Something like that. Okay. When pushed up to Heroku, this code tells Heroku that your application uses the latest minor version of Node 11 and the latest minor version of NPM 6. The package.json file tells Heroku that the application is a Node application, but doesn't tell it how to start it. For this task, you need a proc file, which is used to declare the process types used by your application and the commands used to start them. For locator, you want a web process, and you want it to run the Node application. In the root folder of the application, create a file called procfile. The name is case sensitive and has no file extension. Enter the following line in the proc file. Okay, so I'm going to do this from Visual Studio Code. We're going to click locator, and we're going to right click on it. Oh, wait a minute. New file. Call it proc file. They said it was case sensitive. Oh, it recognizes it. What does the K stand for? And it'll just be web npm start. When pushed up to Heroku, this file tells Heroku that the application needs a web process and that it should run npm start. Cool. Is it raining, bruh? Oh my goodness, why is it raining? And it is raining kind of crazy. Sorry, let me focus. Okay, yes, continue. All right, web npm start. When pushed up to Heroku, this file tells Heroku that the application needs a web process and that it should run npm start, testing it locally with Heroku local. The Heroku CLI comes with a utility called Heroku local. You can use this utility to verify your setup and run your application locally before pushing the application up to Heroku. If the application is currently running, stop it by pressing Ctrl+C in the terminal window that's running the process. Then, in the terminal window, make sure you're in the application folder and enter the following command. Cool. So we're currently running, I think, there. It's nodemon, right? Ctrl+C. Stop that. We don't have to switch this. We can just say Heroku local. Cool. And it's running. Update available. Cool. Don't need to worry about that. This message is nothing to worry about at this stage. Okay, so if all is well with the setup, this command starts the application running on localhost again, but this time on a different port, 5000. The confirmation you get in terminal should be along these lines. You'll probably also see the warning, no environment file found. This message is nothing to worry about at this stage. Sorry, if this doesn't stand for environment, my bad, but it does say env, and I assumed that it meant environment. But I also don't want to falsify any information, so correct me if I'm wrong. If you fire up a browser and head over to localhost 5000, note that the port is 5000 instead of 3000, you should see the application up and running again. Oh my goodness, it is sunny and raining at the same time. It's raining pretty hard, and there's like a bunch of light outside. It looks weird. Okay. Heroku uses Git as a deployment method. If you already use Git, you'll love this approach. If you haven't, you may feel a bit apprehensive about it, because the world of Git can be complex, but it doesn't need to be. And when you get going, you'll love this approach too. I one time did some weird Git command and lost my work at my internship, and it was very hard time trying to I did something where I moved around the files and I wasn't supposed to. I guess the git file that was in there maybe got moved around too or something. It was a difficult situation. I didn't know what to do. That's just my personal experience with Git. Storing the application in Git. The first action is storing the application in Git on your local machine. This process involves the following 3 steps. Initialize the application folder as a Git repository. Tell Git which files you want to add to the repository. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not saying I got fired or nothing like that. No. This happened at an internship that I had. No, I mean we ended up resolving the issue, I think. I don't remember if I had to redo that version or that part of the code. I ended up for some stupid reason I had like 7 different copies of the same project. And so occasionally, I guess I pushed up the wrong version. And it just goes to show you shouldn't have too many versions of the same thing around the same place because it will confuse the heck out of you. But no, I didn't get fired or nothing like that. We ended up resolving it or something. I don't remember what happened, but it all ended up happy in the end. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's pretty bright for like 7:15. What? Where even if it is raining, like where's this light coming from? Anyway, um, this process may sound complex, but it isn't. You need a single short terminal command for each step. If the application is running locally, stop it in terminal, then, ensuring you're still in the root folder of the application, stay in terminal and run the following commands. So this is just telling us how to initialize a Git project. So if you've never used Git before, GitHub, this is a good entry level way to kind of get into using it for your application. So right now we're just doing this to, or actually, hold on, I'm pretty sure I have a command prompt open. It's already in the root. Okay, we can stop this. Okay, git init, which is just git initialize empty git repository, git add all. I'm just telling it to add all the files, and then git commit. M flag just means message. We're telling it what message we want to put for our commit. First commit. I almost never change it from first commit. Just a heads up. Okay. These 3 things together create a local Git repository containing the entire code base for the application. When you update the application later and want to push some changes live, you use the second 2 commands with a different message to update the repository. Your local repository is ready. It's time to create the Heroku application. This next step creates an application on Heroku as a remote Git repository of your local repository. You do all this with a single terminal command. So let's do that next. Heroku, oh, not herp. Heroku create. Yes, you told us we have an update available. I am aware. And also, while we're doing this, I guess we can start coming up with ideas for a potential project for when this stuff is done. When we're done learning. Oh, it created it. Quiet Caverns. How fun. You'll see a confirmation in terminal of the URL that the application is on, the Git repository address, and the name of the remote repository, as in this example. Cool. Yes, that is exactly what we see. If you log into your Heroku account in a browser, you'll see the application exists there. Now that you have a place for Heroku application, for the next step is pushing the application code up. This is where I might face some issues because I have an existing account. Because they allow you to use one, I think what they call like one dyno or one free tier basically for your, I guess for, yeah, there goes Quiet Caverns. Fast Dawn, or maybe we have to delete it? I don't know. Or I think I've deleted projects before. Let me see. Yes, we can delete it. But before we do that, let's see if we even have to do that. Not that it'll matter too much because I'm redoing this whole project again anyway, but let's see if we even have to redo it. You have the application stored in a local Git repository, and you've created a new remote repository on Heroku. The remote repository is empty, so you need to push the contents of your local repository to the Heroku remote repository. If you don't know Git, there's a single command for this purpose, which has the following construct. Okay, we're not going to do it yet. This command pushes the contents of your local Git repository to the Heroku remote repository. Currently, you only have a single branch in your repository, the master branch. So that's what you'll push to Heroku. See the sidebar, what are Git branches? For more information on Git branches. When you run this command, terminal displays a load of log messages as it goes through the process, eventually showing about 5 lines from the end. A confirmation that the application has been deployed to Heroku. This confirmation is something like the following, except that of course you'll have a different URL. Okay, so I guess they just want us to push it, right? Yeah, they just want us to push it because there's nothing next. Yep. Let's do it. Heroku. Hey, I like the way this looks. Yes. I hope I don't have. I think I had to have my credit card attached to this, by the way, for me to use the GitLab or something. Not GitLab, MongoLab. Yeah, for me to use this, I had to attach my credit card. So hopefully they don't charge me for putting another project on here, because that would suck. But let's see what our result was. Oh, still working. Build succeeded. And by the way, it's about 7:20 now. So if we were to do the full 2 hours, we have about 40 minutes left. But you guys let me know. Do you feel comfortable going another 40 minutes? Or do you think like an hour and a half is the sweet spot? Or do you think this stream should have been over maybe at 7? So like an hour is a good spot? Or do you think maybe we made some decent progress here and we should save the rest of the content for the next stream? Let me get your guys' input on that, because I don't want to make it unenjoyable. I mean, the point of this is for you guys to go on this journey with me, basically, and for us to work through this. So yeah, let me know if the timing is good. I can keep going till 8, which is the intention. So all right, if you work on the same version of the code and push it up to a remote repository like Heroku or GitHub periodically, you're working on the master branch. This process is absolutely fine for linear development with one developer. If you have multiple developers, however, or your application is already published, you don't want to be doing your development on the master branch. Instead, you start a new branch from the master code, in which you can continue development, add fixes, or build a new feature. When work on a branch is complete, it can be merged back into the master branch. If anyone in my comment section's familiar with Git enough to answer this for me. So what happens if, say, for example, there's a situation where you have the master branch and now you created 2 branches off of it. And, a person's been developing on this separate branch for a while now, and there's like significant changes. And so now the master branch has a whole new set of features that are completely different than the whole new set of features that are in the other branch. When they do the pull request to merge what they have in their separate other branches, does it work? Like, how does it merge? And I'm assuming that just means that there's gonna be like a ton of bugs now, right? That's how I assume it would work, but I don't know. I mean, would it even let you, if it got too far off of what the original project was, it doesn't like mess up or something? I don't know. Anyway, just a thought, because I'm not sure. I'm not super duper familiar with Git. I use it for an internship. I've used it for projects, for senior project, for all types of things. I've used Git for a bunch of stuff, even in this book here, but I'm still not that familiar with it. Okay, Heroku uses the concept of dynos for running and scaling an application. The more dynos you have, the more system resources and processes you have available to your application. Adding more dynos when your application gets bigger and more popular is easy. Heroku also has a great free tier, which is perfect for application prototyping and building a proof of concept. You get one web dyno free with each application, which is more than adequate for your purposes here. If you have an application that needs more resources, you can always log into your account and pay for more. See, I'm not trying to pay for no like extra resources right now. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. You'll check it out. Actually, we can ensure that we don't run into that issue here. I don't have an issue just deleting this. I don't need this. Enter your app's name. Do. Goodbye, app. Goodbye, cruel world. Cool. Okay, we're gonna leave this here now. Build succeeded. Awesome. Let's just hope I don't have a credit card charge later today. Everything is in place and the application is live on the internet. You can see it by typing the URL given to you in the confirmation via your account on the Heroku website or by using the following command. Let's do it. Just get it, man. Hold up. I keep opening new terminals and just not using what is already open. Hey, see, our work is not in vain. We've done great things. Okay, here we go. If two branches branch off master and modify same file or code, when they are merged, they result in merge conflicts. One way to avoid this on the PR is to merge master into your branch prior to creating the PR and fixing the merge conflicts before you do a pull request. Okay, awesome. That makes sense. So you pull what's currently going on in master into your own branch and then see what merge conflicts happen there, fix those conflicts, and then merge that into master, and that should be fine. That makes sense to me now. Cool. Appreciate you. If you don't mind me asking, Jay Welly, I mean, you seem pretty experienced. Have you been doing programming, software development, or software engineering for a long time? Or I guess anything that you feel like sharing? I definitely want to get to know some of the people who are popping up in chat because, I mean, this is pretty cool. I'm always looking for advice from people as well, so that would be very helpful to me. Appreciate it. All right, so we have this launched. Your URL will be different, blah, 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 simple update process. Yep. This is how we update if we want to do it again. Boom, end of the chapter. Awesome. The next chapter, we're going to actually build out the entire site statically. Now, we're not going to build out, any like real functionality or anything like that, but we will be doing at least everything that we need for how the site will actually look. So we'll get to actually using Pug and Bootstrap, which I'm going to really enjoy, in prototyping and stuff. So let me know if this is a good place to stop. Hour and a half. I'm starting to think hour and a half is the sweet spot. I mean, that's how I feel, but let me know. Are you guys expecting more? And this is perfect. We just got to chapter 4. So we can from here I will zip up what I currently have in the project, and I'll put it in the Discord and also put it on put it in a drive, and I'll create a link to that drive in the info section of my Twitch channel. That should work. Yeah. I think I'm comfortable with this. I think we'll leave it from here. If you want more web development content, right now our stream schedule is just Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can definitely catch me next Tuesday, but I will also be streaming this weekend, but it will not be web development content. What I stream this weekend will be web agency, and have been there for 4 years now. I've been doing websites at professionally for 5 total. Been coding longer for fun though. That is awesome. Like I really want to get into like freelance work and be able to like do my own websites for clients. But like I definitely have never had the confidence to do so. Just because I feel like my skills are very really I've only ever done book projects, and even with those I haven't done all of them till completion. And then with my own private projects I haven't really done them to completion either. Things avoid doing when web developing. Oh, like things to avoid and not to do? No, generally these books tell you good practice. If they do tell you anything that's considered bad practice, it's usually in little bits and pieces scattered throughout the book. So it's not really like specific section. If you guys want, we can briefly take a look at the contents of the book. So right now we're at chapter 4, building a static site with Node and Express. The first 3 chapters really easy and quick because it's just getting you set up. But so this one's going to take a little longer than what the other chapters did. So we're going to be actually putting together the views and everything. And then, yeah, and then we go into modeling data, REST API. I guess they might talk about what's considered bad convention when building a REST API. That may be like an avoid kind of section, where they might talk about stuff you should avoid. But in terms of everything else when it comes to web developing, no, they don't have like a dedicated section to it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stop it here at chapter 4. I could also just stay here and vibe out a little longer. I do enjoy talking to you guys. So if you don't mind me asking, where's the web agency? Are you working from like home right now? Are they, you guys are in New York? It's actually a web agency I wanted to work for in New York, but I tried to get an internship with them. They didn't have really a formal internship. I just sent them an email. Oh, nice, awesome. That is cool stuff. Right now, I'm in Michigan, and I work for General Motors. And I'm really technically not really doing software for them. Like right now, at least I'm in a rotational program. I'm also working from home. I'm not going to get into details about my work, but long story short, every 6 months I'll get something different to work on, which will be cool. Which will be fun. Thank memes manager. Actually, I actually run a meme cult on Facebook, and we have 86 members now. And I wouldn't mind putting a link for the meme cult in Discord or on the Twitch channel. That would be fun. But yeah, we just post a lot of memes. It's not all of it's original. It's really just more like a place where we share memes that are really funny into the group, which is fun. But there have been times where we've made original memes before that were pretty good. So none of them blew up or got famous or anything. But we have made our own memes before, so that's fun stuff. But there's a meme section on the Discord channel. Sorry, in the Discord server, there's a channel for memes. I'm also a bit of an anime nerd, but if you're not into anime, completely understand. But if you are, there happens to be a channel for it. And thanks to quarantine, I've been watching quite a lot of anime, like the nerd I am. And actually, speaking of which, I just bought a TV so I can watch anime on the big screen. It's a smart TV. And I'm trying to put Crunchyroll on there. Truth be told, I haven't used any of my other streaming services. I've just been watching anime. And it's great. I thought I ran out of shows to watch, and then here comes this show that I decided to check out called Overlord. At first I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't look interesting. I started watching it, I was like, yo, you know what? I kind of like this show. This is pretty good. Pirated movies and chill. That's the vibe, man. That's the vibe. Pirated movies and chill. My father is like the king of like pirating stuff. Like it's ridiculous. He pirates so much stuff. It's hilarious. I mean, even my brother, he pirates software too. What? Yo, son, man, let's not even talk about that. That's fucking hilarious. Anyway, let me not keep you guys any longer. I'm gonna cut the stream off here, but I really do appreciate you guys. We held an average of like 5 or more, like an average like 6 viewers this stream. I don't think anyone knows. Maybe you do, but I don't think anyone knows how big that is for me. Like this is the first time. I didn't think the web development content would be the one to bring that. To be honest with you, I'm happy that it did because I really do want to get through this book. It's a goal of mine. I want to actually finish this thing and be able to create my own project using what I learned from this book. And this is huge. I've never been able to have this many people watching me at the same time for this long. Like, this is awesome. I really do appreciate everything, for real. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday. If you want to see more web development content, if you're interested, when I do video games, I do also talk about personal finance. I do have a new topic for this weekend. I don't spend the whole 4 hours talking about personal finance, of course, because that'd be too long. But, I do bring up the subject. If anyone has questions or just wants to talk in general, and about, different ways I approach different things when it comes to personal finance, definitely be sure to stop by and, ask a couple questions. Even if it's just for like 2 minutes, I'd appreciate it. All right. Appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna sign off here. All right. Have a good one. Everyone stay safe. And I'll catch you guys next time.